All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Why If Dizzy TV. Today in the studio, I got one of my good friends in here, my boy. We play Fortnite together. We work together. My boy Snack Diesel. What's going on?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
So tell the people where you from, real quick.
From Detroit, man.
From
Detroit.
Detroit?
Yeah, moved out here a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
2 years almost now. No, a year and a half ago. It was like last year March.
Yeah.
So it's been over a little over a year and a half. Moved out here with the family.
Oh man. So how's it feel like coming from somewhere so far and then coming to Texas? Like, was that a culture shock or was it pretty similar?
See, the thing is, it's real similar, but it like it just feels weird because you go from being able to, pull up to your boy's house, 20, 30 minutes away to now you ain't got nobody to go to for real.
Yeah.
You got to meet a bunch of different people, and go out and see and experience stuff all over again from somewhere that you've been your whole life.
Man.
It's definitely something to adjust to.
So where did the name Snack Diesel come from?
Man, I've had that name for so long. I got it when I was like a kid.
Yeah.
It was a two-parter. My dad created it for me. So they started putting stuff together. They put the
Shout
snack.
out Pops.
Yeah, shout out Pops. They put the snack together because one more it was like a Christmas morning.
Yeah.
And he's waking me up, hey, Snack Diesel, Santa came, let's go open your presents.
Yeah.
And the first thing I said to him was, hey, can I get a honey bun? I was like, let me get a honey bun. I don't care about
before
the
I look at the
presents.
gifts, let me get a honey
Before we
bun.
even get to that part, I need a honey bun, bro. This is what I need. And then the diesel part just came from, I used to play football as a kid.
Yeah.
And, big guys in football, they just, all the parents and stuff like that used to be like, dang, my pops, Jay, he was like, dang, Jay, your son, he run like a diesel engine. And then I don't know how, my dad one day just put Snack and Diesel together. He said, you know what, that's your name. That's when I started gaming, and it's stuck ever since.
Damn.
I never met anybody with a similar name. It's always been just me.
So if you Google Snack Diesel, you'll pop up.
I sure will. I should, yeah.
should.
I think the first thing that's gonna pop up is probably my Twitch.
Hey, that's good for your, what is it, the search engine stuff? CEO or SEO?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But the first thing I want to talk about, I got this crazy story and I want to get your opinion on it.
All right.
So, it's a football game. I didn't watch the game, but there was a fan at this game. Recently married fan. She has a sign and it says Josh Allen, which is the quarterback of the team that was playing. It was said, Josh Allen, I just got married, but I'd leave my husband for you.
Nah, man.
Yeah, and how do you feel about that? Like,
See,
do you take it as a joke or do you think that's like, nah, that's like pretty serious?
the crazy part is because especially when it comes to like, famous people like that, football players, rappers, musicians, artists, all those people, I mean, at the end of the day, they'll take that opportunity if they not, if they don't got nothing to be caught up in. So say he looks at her and he's like, oh, dang, for real? That's what you want? That's what you gonna do? And he try to take the opportunity, then what? Because if you don't, as a recently married husband, it's like, if that's my wife out there, like, what are you doing? What are we doing? Like, I feel like y'all would have had to have some sort of like agreement to do something like that beforehand. But me personally, nah, you ain't doing all that.
Well, some people have this thing where they call it like the celebrity pass.
Yeah.
Something, I don't know what the quite name is, but it's where like they come to an agreement like, this is my one person that I would sleep with if I ever came in contact with, and that's your one person. And I saw it like on TV growing up, and I was like, oh, I guess that's a thing. But now that I have, my own thing going on, I'm like, I would never do some shit like that. I would.
I think it's crazy just because like in your mind you think that's never gonna happen. Like, I'm never gonna meet this celebrity. This celebrity is never gonna lay eyes on me. So it's funny to make that kind of joke with your spouse, because it's like, oh, listen, if Beyonce say something to me, you already know, it's me and her. We going for it. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, Beyonce. Well, if it's Beyonce for you, then it's fucking Justin Timberlake for me. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. And it makes sense in that moment. But I guarantee you, 90% of these marriages and these couples who have that something like that, when it comes to that time to ante up, they're gonna be like, nah, fam, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that, bro.
I was just playing. Oh, I thought that was a joke between us. You really go sleep with Beyonce? Hell yeah. Like,
but not only that, like, you're making your partner look like they ain't shit in front of the world. Think about his friends saw that, his family saw that, your family saw that. They're like, what type of girl is you?
Right, like, what do you got going on in your household? If she want to throw you away just for a football player, then it's like, what is that gonna bring down the line?
Yeah.
It's like then next thing you know, it's well I was with that football player. Like nah, we can't
Like,
have
and
that.
people like, oh, we said that bit's never gonna happen, but like I had a friend, well, I wouldn't say friend, but I had a coworker back in the day when I was moving furniture and stuff. Now, and he told me a story about his girlfriend of like 6, 7 years cheating on him with Trey Songz.
Man,
And his girl was super happy about it, but she was like, it was Trey Songz. What you want me to do?
that's crazy.
6, 7 years just down the drain.
6, 7 years is crazy. At that point, it's like I get both perspectives. Like, okay, it's Trey Songz. If Beyonce trying to catch me up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Beyonce
yeah.
catch me up, and she like, what you gonna do? It's like, hold on, like, let me think about it first.
Yeah.
But for 6, 7 years, just to throw that away, like you gotta call first. Play like, look,
Yeah.
I need your honest opinion. Like, you gotta call your partner. Like, this is the situation. I promise you, I'm not messing with you right now. This is what I have the opportunity to do.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? At that point, it's like if the guy says yes, all right, then whatever. If he says no, then that is you got to know. Like, you can't do that. But just to do it without saying nothing and just like, oh, I just cheated with you on with Trey Songz and just you expect me to be okay with it? Like,
yeah.
no, now I hate you and I hate Trey Songz.
And I hate Trey Songz. Every time I
ain't
hear
never
that
listen to
song,
Bottoms Up.
bottoms up, turn that shit up.
Turn that shit up, man. Skip this.
Bro, and speaking of like concerts, like, have you seen the concert fits? Like the fits that, ladies that are in relationships, married, be wearing to the concerts?
Yep.
Even if they way up top, they're like, there's a chance he might see me.
I feel like it depends on the mentality of why you're wearing an outfit like that. If you're just wearing an outfit like that because you like your body, you like the way you look, all right, cool. If we in a stable enough relationship and I know who you are, and I know you're not gonna do nothing like against me, you're not gonna let no dude do nothing to you.
Yeah.
Cool, we chilling. But if you out there trying to shake your ass and let people see you,
Yeah.
that mentality, hell no, like not going out like that.
What other reason is there for somebody in a relationship to just have their body out though?
Just to be proud of your body.
Yeah, but
if I had a nice body, promise you every chance I get, I'm taking my shirt off. That's a fact.
which is understandable if you're single, but like, if you in a relationship and that's not your job and you just a regular smegular person and you posting, half naked pics on Instagram, what's going on?
That's fair. Posting it,
Yeah.
I would say is a little bit different than just
that's
going
the
out.
only reason I know those fits exist.
That's fair. Post it to give attention, get attention. And if it's not, like you said, if you're like a content creator or something like that, then what's the point of having it?
Have you seen the Chris Brown concerts, the meet and greets?
Nah, I ain't seen nothing like that, but I can only imagine.
So apparently, Chris Brown, he used to do meet and greets for a long time, and he charged like $100.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just a hello and goodbye. He wanted to make it more personable, so he raised the price, but he spends more time with them. He takes personal pics with them, and some of these pics, that these fans be taking, is crazy.
Man.
Because they got to pay for the ticket, and then they got to pay an extra $1,500 for just the experience. That
$1,500?
yeah.
Couldn't be me.
So basically, the pictures are like relationship pics, like where Chris Brown picks him up and they straddle him, or they're all over him and they're like he's grabbing them by the throat and different things like that. Like, I mean, if you single and that's your money, cool. Go meet Chris Brown.
Right.
But you just, and this is why I brought this up. It connects to that story from earlier. There was this woman who started going viral on social media because she went to the meet and greet, right? And she took the pics, and it happened a little bit before her wedding. After her wedding, she posted pictures, but the first picture is the Chris Brown meet and greet picture. And then the rest are wedding photos and videos.
That's crazy.
And even in the vow, she's talking about like, I'm giving up on my dream man, Chris Brown, but I'm settling for you. And it's like everybody in the room's like, ha, ha, ha. But it's like, yo.
I'm walking out.
You already starting the relationship on a bad foot. Like,
exactly. Every day I wake up and think about that shit. Like, what are you talking about? You are settling for me.
And I might clip this. If I clip this up, here's a picture of the Chris Brown meet and greet, which is crazy. But yeah, do you think that's okay? Do you think that's okay?
Nah. Like you said, if you're single and that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
If you want to go take pictures like that, by all means. Just like in every other situation, you want to, wear those outfits and post online. All right, cool. You want the attention. That's what you get. But when you have somebody, like, What are we doing?
Yeah, something like that to me is a deal breaker.
Yeah, I get it. Especially like you talking about you're posting our wedding photos. These are our wedding photos, memories for us to cherish for the rest of our lives, and you're gonna put them after
Yeah,
your
after
crazy Chris Brown
after
picture.
is crazy because I think she straddled him too.
Oh yeah, nah.
Yeah, which the pictures here, y'all can see it, but it's just insane. Me personally, I think people have too high of standards nowadays. That's why there's a lot of single people and things like that. But you should have hard caps when it comes to deal breakers. Your woman having her whole personality about another man should be a deal breaker.
I agree.
Your wife having most of her titties out in a concert or pictures on Instagram when she's a regular person should be a deal breaker.
That's fair.
But me, I've started to come up with this thing where I think that 75 to 80% good should be good, whether it's relationships or jobs.
Yeah.
If there's some things that are deal breakers, that's that 20%. And I should put it to 30%. It's not okay. But if you find somebody who like meets most of your categories, I think you should rock out with them. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, as long as like you said, it's just a give and take, right? Pros and cons. If the pros outweigh the cons, it's all right, cool. I can get past this because I got everything else. So you don't have to really worry about the extra stuff, right? You just worry about the positives.
I think that's why there's so many like just not dangerous because everybody has. Oh no, they have to have everything on my list. I'm not settling.
And that's why you end up alone. You're looking for Mr. and Mrs. Right, that don't exist anymore. They already caught up with somebody else.
That's true. Like if you're waiting more, the longer you wait, I'm not telling anybody to rush into a relationship, but the longer you wait, the pool shrinks for people. We get older. It's just, it's the thing. We get older. People have kids. The people who actually are, good material for relationships, they get swept up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Whether it's in junior high, high school, college, like people just ain't waiting forever. There's this I think there's this misconception where people are saying, hey, live your life, build your money, do this, and then build your family.
Right.
Which, me personally, I don't agree with that. I think that the reason for life is like friends and family. Like having people near you and just living a good life, eating good food, having good drinks, having good times, things like that. If something is 75% good or 80% if you're on the extreme side, you should rock out with it.
I agree. And especially like you said, like people always say, live your life first and then try to settle down and meet someone. It's like, what's the point of living my life and then meeting someone? I want to live my life with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to make, eat this food, make these memories with somebody else. And that's what makes sense. You know what I'm saying? You can always, like, down the line, 20, 30 years later, you have kids, you can go again. You know what I'm saying? Because your life's going to be stabilized.
Yeah.
Y'all can make different memories. But when you're in that point, you don't want to look back and be like, dang, I did all this, but I was alone the whole time. You know what I mean? You want to try to experiment and figure out where you want to be, find someone to be happy with. Like you said, as long as you 80%, 75% happy the whole time, I mean, figure it out.
Yeah, because, there's going to be fights.
Always.
There's going to be things you don't like. They feet might smell,
Yeah.
Shit like that. They might fart too loud. They might snore. If you're somebody who just hates snoring, cool. Don't be with them if that's your one thing. But don't have like 10, 21 things that you can't stand because then you're going to end up alone.
Exactly. Waiting on someone that, just like you said, doesn't exist.
But also, this takes me right into my next point, is I've been reading this book it's called The Teachings of Don Miguel. It's like very, very out there. It gets like very esoteric and like energies and shit like that. But one of the cool parts that I read recently was we live as if we're going to live forever.
Yeah.
Like we treat our friends or people near us like, oh, they just call me? I'll call them tomorrow. Or they invited me to the party, I'll go to the next one. Or, this job is treating me bad. I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do. I still have a long time. Let's, things like that. Like, oh, I have forever to find me a partner, but that's not the reality.
It's not.
All of us could literally be gone the next day. You don't know what's gonna happen. The one thing in life that's guaranteed for sure is that we're all gonna die.
Absolutely. I completely agree. It's something that a lot of people, like you said, they don't realize, they don't recognize this. It's like, they want to live for the future. They want to, people always like talking about, yeah, I'm broke. I want to save money. I want to save up so I can get this house, in 10, 15 years. Okay. What if you get in a car accident tomorrow? You sit there, you didn't go out to lunch with your friends because you was like, well, that's the fund I'm putting towards this, that, and the third, you know what I'm saying, for 2, 3, 4 years down the future, but you missing out on your friends, not your friend, something happened to your friend, you can never go to lunch with them again. You know what I'm saying? And people, they consistently, like you said, they live for tomorrow, but tomorrow's not promised. It could be completely something simple. You go to sleep and you just don't wake up the next morning. You never know. Yeah. And people, they don't think about that, and it hurts because it's like, for me personally, I try to live for today. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I try to live for today in the sense that I enjoy what I enjoy throughout the day. I never want to go to sleep and be like, shit, I should have did this. Or shit, I had the opportunity to do this and I chose not to, and now I'm real mad about it. Yeah. Just like, when I got my last tattoo, it was Friday the 13th, and I was like, oh, I want to pull up and go get another tattoo. It's nice and cheap. You know what I'm saying? I can go get this tattoo. I like the design, fuck it, let me go do it. And I was real disappointed that day because I got there and they ended up saying, well, we have to do it tomorrow. And I'm like, well, fuck. You know what I'm saying? But thankfully, I woke up the next day and I was able to go get that shit. And it's just one of those things that people don't think about the repercussions of how life works. You can't plan everything. So, I don't know, man.
Yeah. It's the one thing in life that's guaranteed, but we live like it's not.
Yeah.
And imagine if, you live today like you knew tomorrow you were going to die. Like, you live today. Like, how would you live? What would you do today if you knew you were going to die tomorrow? Like, we saw a meteor coming, and it was like, oh, this is the timer. This is how much time we got left.
I would just spend time with the people that are closest to me. I know that's the corniest way to put it, but if I knew for a fact that tomorrow was not promised, I would literally go. I would hang out with my mom, my sister, my dad, my closest friends that I've made since I've been here in Texas. I would just hang out with them. I would honestly just try to get everybody together, just have a good ass time. Yeah. Just, celebrate life. Not, be mad that the world is ending or this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, we can't do shit to stop it.
Yeah, we can't do nothing.
If we can't do nothing to stop it, we might as well just celebrate the life that we had. Celebrate the connections that we made. Celebrate the time that we knew each other. Laugh, cry, drink, party. Do what we got to do. But at the end of the day, be with each other. And
imagine if everybody lived their life like that. Like, every day. Imagine how much better the world would be if we all treat each other like, tomorrow's the last day. Let me be a little nicer to you. Let me speak nicer to you. Speaking of, it's another story I'm going to tell later, but it was a crazy guy I dealt with yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but crazy. But I got this topic, and we could cut this out if you're not rocking with it, but I was looking at some stats this morning, and it's crazy. So, based off of divorce rates. Okay. And it goes, there's rankings from like 3, 2, 1. 3 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. And I'm going to give you 3 categories and you put them in order for me. It's okay. Fun game. So there's hetero couples, gay couples, lesbian couples. I know there's, more, but those are the majority.
Okay.
What would you say is the divorce rate from highest to lowest?
Highest for divorce rate. Okay, so highest being these people get divorced the most.
Yeah.
Middle being they're so-so. Yeah. Bottom being they stay together the longest. So hetero being bottom. I assume that heterosexual couples stay together longer. Mostly because they have kids. Yeah. They use that. I mean, some people use that as an excuse. We got kids. We can't get divorced. We got to wait for them to grow up, this, that, and the third. That it just becomes this whole thing where it's like, it's not even worth it. Let's work our issues out. Yeah. Lesbian couples in the middle. I really don't. The only reason I would say lesbian couples in the middle is because I guarantee gay couples have a higher divorce rate, bro.
Why do you feel that way,
bro? The amount that I have to and I deal with in the gay community, dealing with different people, it just everybody wants to be with everybody.
Yeah.
That's my personal experience with the gay community. Like, people are all in, polyamorous relationships, and whoever's watching, if you don't know what that means, it means you like to be with multiple different partners. You don't just have your husband or your wife and be locked down like that. You like to have your husband and your wife, but also have your boyfriend and your girlfriend on the side too. Yeah. Not me personally. That's not me.
Yeah,
That's not me.
yeah, I'm not right.
But especially down here, which is crazy because it's like this when I was in Michigan.
Yeah.
But down here, 90% of the gay people that I meet are all like that. And they're always trying to be with somebody else. And as far as I know, like a lot of gay people, they just feel so much stronger, so much faster. And I think that has a whole thing of just, it just now being okay to be gay.
I think also it has to do with being a guy. Like guys, we just have a natural drive, like like to want to do that type of stuff all the time. Guys, I feel like they feel quicker and stronger than what ladies do.
Yeah,
but it's crazy. It's actually not like that.
It's not.
No, so gay is actually the lowest divorce rate.
Really?
And I think it's a couple of factors, but I think the biggest one is that they're only getting married unless they know, like, oh, this is the person I want to be with.
That's fair.
And then they have the rational mind when it comes to those things.
Yeah.
But the order is from highest to lowest is lesbian at 75% divorce rate, hetero at 50% divorce rate, and then gay at 25.
25, goddamn.
So for each woman that you add to the relationship, it jumps 25%.
You know what? When you put it that way,
yeah.
That's fair.
Hey, that's straight stats. I'm not being misogynistic or nothing. That's stats.
That is statistics. That's fair.
And there's another reason. Did you know that 80% to 90, stats, so we don't know the exact, but it's in a high range, 80% to 90% of divorces are initiated by a woman?
That's fair.
Yeah, it's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah. Now you're not thinking about it. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. Not even, I say makes sense. Don't cancel me. No, it's not even makes sense. It just feels like you said, as a man, it's like you're more willing, I feel like, to work through something. You're more willing to, be okay with something that
deal with some hardship.
Exactly. As a because you might as a man just sit there and be dejected. You might close up for a little while, but at the end of the day, you're gonna get over it.
Yeah, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna get a good snack and be like, oh damn, I'm having a good ass
That's
day.
what I'm saying. Like something gonna change your mood real fast.
Yeah.
As a woman, and I say this having grown up in a predominantly women household because my parents got divorced when I was younger, and I lived primarily with my mom and my sister and my grandma.
Yeah, me, mom and granny, just me as well.
That's what I'm saying. It's like women can be. I'm not saying all women, but women can be very petty
and emotional,
in a lot of different situations. And at that time, it's like you don't think things through.
Yeah, you're just saying what you feel at the moment.
Exactly, and then you do what you do, like get a divorce, and then a month or 2 months down the line, you want to get back together with that person.
Yeah,
I would love to see the statistics of divorced couples getting back together and who initiated getting back together.
Yeah,
because I dealt with it myself as a son. I dealt with it with my parents.
Yeah.
My parents got divorced. Now, as a kid, I don't remember who initiated the first divorce, but I do know, I believe my mom initiated getting back with my dad.
What?
And they got divorced again.
Damn, again? Yes, they got round
two? Twice. They got divorced twice. And I wonder who initiated getting back. I'm pretty sure it was my mom. And I don't know who initiated both the divorces, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's one of those things. If you were going to divorce the first time just to try to get back together, what was the purpose?
Whoa.
You could have worked through it.
I think when you're missing somebody, you start to romanticize like everything that was cool about them. Like for example, I've left a job, and once you have a bad day at your next job, you're like, damn. At the last job, I wasn't really sweating. I had to deal with this, but I missed that, but then you go back. Like, oh, this some bullshit.
Look, what the
This some bullshit. I did not miss this shit.
That's
I did not miss all the
like. You get that list on yourself, you're like, fuck, what did I do to myself?
That stuff is crazy, but I don't know. I feel like it's just something that comes. And also, I don't know if you've seen kind of this trend, but I feel like being like getting divorces, being single, getting back out there is kind of being promoted nowadays.
Yeah. A lot of people, they don't, in my experience, live in that moment. Like you were just saying, like, you got to live for tomorrow. But at the end of the day, it's like you got to reevaluate, especially when you're in a relationship like that.
Yeah.
You're getting married, you're together for years. And you want to just jump right after it, you know what I'm saying, to somebody else.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like, that's a little crazy because, like, damn, what did the last 7 or 6 years mean to you? If you out there dating somebody else a month later, a week later, 2 weeks later, it's like, so what's your commitment for?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a couple scenarios where people will blow up like their whole life just because the quick moment, like, oh, you know, they was giving me some attention, they was being nice to me, things like that. And it's like, yo, you gotta think about, yes, in the moment, but like long term as well, because you still gonna have to see that person, especially if you have kids. You're still gonna have to interact if you're gonna be a good parent. Like,
Absolutely.
you still gonna have to see each other, and just to do that with somebody you're gonna have to see for the rest of your life. I don't know. That's kind of crazy to me.
You got to interact with them for the rest of your life. Like, what was the purpose? Like,
What was the purpose?
You're making it harder for yourself in the future. That's crazy to me.
So let me ask you this though: when it comes to like breakups and stuff like that, do you or like, you know, when you first go on a date and somebody's not vibing with you, do you prefer they tell you like, hey, you know, this was bad about you, I didn't like this about you, I didn't like that about you, or they just ghost you? Which would be a better preference for you?
Tell me. And I say tell me because I feel like ghosting is like the easy way out in a sense. Like, if you ghost me, it's like, okay, in my mind, I'm thinking maybe we had a really good date. Maybe we vibed. I'm thinking that we had a good time. You faking it the whole time. Okay, tell me what's wrong with it. Like, what did I do wrong? Was it a topic that was brought up? You know, was it a joke that I made? Was it, this, that, and the third? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to know. And what if I mess something up that I think is okay? And you could coach me on it. I say coach, but like, you can coach me on it. You can correct me on it. So that way in the future, it doesn't happen again. Because at the end of the day, what if it's something so small?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Something so small, so simple. It was a misunderstanding. What if we're talking about something and you misunderstood what I said to mean something much more negative to you? But I'm thinking it's the other way around. I'm thinking it the way I meant it, and then you ghost me because of that, and we never have that conversation about, well, you said this, and it really made me feel this type of way, and I have to explain to you, oh no, that's not what I meant when I said that. What I meant was ABC, and then next thing you know, y'all can have a whole relationship just off of that. Like, every other part of the date was good, but that miscommunication. So I think it that way personally, because just tell me what's going on. Because at the end of the day, if we don't click, then we don't click. I can always, keep going, keep dating, find somebody else. But you ghost me, it's like, what's the point? We already spent this time with each other. I feel like you owe it to each other to be honest in that situation. You know what I'm saying? You spent time talking, because I'm sure it was a talking stage. Then you went on the actual date. At least a couple hours. Like, shit, just for you to send 5 minutes, 10-minute phone call, text. Like, hey, this is what's going on. This is how I feel. Open the dialogue. See what happens. Because you never know.
Man, that's some good stuff. Well, hey, quick commercial break. We'll be right back. You ever watch Black Mirror?
Oh, yeah. I've seen one episode of Black Mirror. And apparently it was the worst episode.
What episode is that?
It's the one where I guess parents have like chips in their kids' brains and they can like see what their kids are doing.
What?
Yeah, and it was so fucking weird.
Is it like the new season?
No, this was like this is like season 1, I want to say. It was like one of the first ones, and I guess her mom was like watching the girl, and she was like having sex with her boyfriend, and she was watching through the girl's eyes, and I'm like, bro, what?
Whoa.
Apparently, it was a really bad episode. I was like, this is crazy. I feel like this is a good episode for what the show is.
Yeah.
But it was apparently bad.
Thought provoking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's this episode of Black Mirror where basically, like, everything is like automated and everybody's a star.
Oh, I feel like I saw this.
So I think it was the guy from, what was that movie where the white people were trying to like take black people's bodies? Get Out?
Yeah, Get Out.
So it was the guy from Get Out, and he's the main guy. So first, he's riding on the bike, and then they go home and they have like government mandated jerk off time. After that,
oh yeah, I did see about this.
Yeah, they have government mandated jerk off time, and then he's just living his life. He has a little girlfriend, things like that. Well, his girlfriend wants to be a star. She's like, I see them. They look like they have all the life. I want to be a singer. She wants to be just a regular singer. Well, they get her. She becomes a singer, but instantly they turn her into a porn star.
Damn.
So he gets upset and like gets a shard of glass because there's no weapons. You know, they're fully controlled. Their job is just riding on a bike. That's literally their job to, I guess, power the world or something like that. And he gets a shard of glass and gets in the camera. He's like, you know, I'm gonna kill myself. You know, the world is horrible. This is what's wrong with the world. That's what's wrong with the world. And while he's recording, he's getting views, hits. He's blowing up. So it cuts to the next scene, and he's doing it again. But now he's in this big house, and it's performative. Like he really felt that way, but now he's only doing it performative.
Right.
And I kind of feel like that's kind of what's happening to the world. They're taking the women, they're sending them to the porn side, or to, you know, just exposing their bodies, or just things that are not good for their soul. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for the guys, it's just, you know, everybody is being a star nowadays. And which, you know, is cool. You know, we all want to be movie stars. But if you notice, it's not the same as it once was.
Oh, no.
Like, right, Snoop Dogg, megastar.
Right.
Back then, everybody, people still know who Snoop Dogg is. Because that's like when stars were stars. Now, you know, they're like, oh, this is a streamer, that's a streamer. And, you know, we have the same mission as well. They kind of, that's the one thing that trips me out about, like, wanting to be bigger, wanting to succeed. Is like, damn, everybody's on the same shit right now. Like,
It's saturated.
it's saturated, and it's like, it almost feels like not good. That's why sometimes, like, they're like, oh, why do you turn it off, and why do you get momentum and cut it off? It's because, like, I don't know, like, I struggle, like, internally when it comes to, like, that type of stuff, like wanting to be famous for the sake of fame or things like that, which I don't want to be famous. I just want to have something successful. I like to talk to people. That's why I do this, or, you know, any other thing that I've done. But how do you feel about that? Like, now that you're a person who's also trying to, you know.
I want to say, I mean, I got that exact same experience. I mean, I've wanted to be a streamer, a Twitch streamer, a video game streamer, not just on Twitch, but just a video game streamer.
Yeah.
Since I could play video games, since
Yeah.
I've known the first streamer, shout out Summon 1G, like,
Yeah.
that's the first streamer I've ever watched. And ever since then, I was like, I want to do what he does. Not to be famous,
Yeah.
but because as a kid, I grew up really alone. As a kid, I moved around a lot. You know, I moved back and forth to different houses, different suburbs, had to change schools. Pretty much every year that I remember, I was in a different school until I got to high school.
Yeah.
And I just always felt alone. And my thought process was, damn, when you're a streamer, you know, depending on what kind of viewership you get, you're talking to these people as you're playing games. You're having a good time, doing something that you love, playing video games, and then you're responding and talking to these other people who are enjoying you as a person or enjoying your gameplay because maybe you're a good person at the game, like you're good at the game, or you're just funny. You know what I'm saying? And that was always what it was for me. I just wanted interaction. I wanted to not be alone anymore. And I got to that point where, I mean, I was never a huge streamer, right? I was never pulling in thousands of views, but I pulled in, like, I mean, I went on the average, like 25, you know,
That's
30.
pretty solid, yeah.
It gets to that point because it's like you just meet people and people will come in. What I liked was seeing people who would come in for the first time, right? And I never recognized the name, like, oh, hey, how you doing? You know, talk to them, just chill. Next stream, they pop up. Hey, what's going on? Next stream, they pop up. And it's like, you get yourself someone who's like, oh, I like the way this person vibes, you know what I'm saying? And then you get to the point where it's like, it can get to being monetized. And it's like, well, shit, I can make a decent little check off of just this, me just playing video games, me just shooting the shit, having a good time, talking to people. And that's what it was for me. Me personally, I got a problem with authority. So I hate working regular jobs, man. I hate working regular jobs. I don't like people telling me what to do. So when it's something that you can monetize and do something that you love and helps that issue for me personally, because my fear is being alone.
Yeah.
So me personally, like, even though I don't know per se every single person, you know, you get to know them over time online and stuff like that. And that's why I did it. And I got big for a little bit. I was making like nothing crazy, but like to me, for just playing video games, making like $100, $150 a month.
Damn,
like,
that's some good money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's
V-Buck skin right there.
Yeah, for real. Buy some Fortnite stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just, that was always what drove me. And then things got pushed to the side where real life, right?
Yeah.
I can't do that for all time because I got to actually make some real money to pay bills and stuff like that. And then time kind of just got shifted. I hadn't been able to. But I still, like, I want to start streaming again. And it's something that I've always loved doing. And it's not, like you said, about being famous. It's about building something for yourself, building a brand for yourself, possibly. You know what I'm saying? That's where it boils down to.
Yeah, me since I was younger, TMZ. We didn't have cable, so I used to watch like the regular channels. TMZ would come on Fox. I used to watch it, and I would see like celebs would not like the paparazzi, and I was like, bro, I would like to have all the money they have, but I don't want to be famous.
Right.
But it's kind of like you have to, if you're at a job, you're not going to be famous, but you have to listen to somebody, say, hey, do this, do that. Even if it don't make sense, you got to listen to them. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing I do like about this new generation. You could monetize like gifts, like your passions, things that you love, and you don't have to just do a soulless thing. But yeah, that was the only thing that I've looked at is like, now it's like everybody is a brand. Mm-hmm. Even if you're just an average Joe. I've seen guys blow up off of making TikToks from working at Amazon, being a delivery guy, and he started getting paid. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty cool when you can monetize the things you do. For the people that don't know, I could be considered a professional rapper because I've made money off my music. I mean, it's less than $100 that I've made, but I've gotten paid. So
there you go.
Appreciate you, Spotify.
Hey, look, I get to say that I was on a podcast with a professional rapper. That's going on my resume.
Yeah. But the last thing I want to talk about is fake job listings.
Oh, man.
So, I'm not necessarily looking for a job right now, but, you should always keep your options open, especially if things aren't going how they should. But right now, a lot of companies, they're posting jobs, but they're not hiring. Mm-hmm. But I found out what's the reason they're doing that. So the reason they're posting fake jobs and not hiring is because back when COVID was happening, a lot of companies took PPP loans and, things like that, hardship loans from the government. And what it was for is, to hire people to keep the economy going, keep the jobs going, get people paid, people not be starving out in the streets. Mm-hmm. And the companies, they took that money, pocketed, of course, gave a little bit to their employees. Right. They were supposed to take jobs, and they never did. So now that's why there's so many people on TikTok, on YouTube saying, man, I've applied at 100 jobs. Nobody's willing to hire me. I mean, of course, there is people who aren't hireable, right. Of course. But for all these people to be feeling the same way, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. And it's because these companies are committing fraud. Did you, find that experience, with you?
Man, put it like this. I just recently got into a new job. Mm-hmm. I have been looking for another job since early February. / January.
That's crazy.
I have been actively searching for a job since then. I mean, like every couple of days going on Indeed or ZipRecruiter, sending in all my resume to a bunch of different places, and for a while I wasn't hearing anything back. Mm-hmm. And this is like, I have a long job history. I've been working since I was 16. I'm 25 now.
Yeah.
And I've had a long job history between, customer service, sales. I guess that's really good now that I think about it. But it's all been customer service and sales.
That's very useful for most companies. If you've been in sales, you're an automatic hire most of the time. If they're hiring, like, for real.
Right, exactly. And it's like the amount of places that I submitted to that I didn't hear shit back from. I didn't hear anything back from. I'm like, all right, well, that's cool. Or even I get in there and I get into an interview and they're telling me, oh, yeah, so we actually just posted it like this, but here's really what the job description is and what it breaks down to. Recently, I had like 3 interviews for 3 separate companies.
Yeah.
And they gave me the exact same pitch in the sense where they were like, yeah, so I know we said that we were hiring for customer service, this, and the third, but what we're really trying to do is hire a training management position in which we train you to manage your own store, and you go through this 8-week, 8 to 11 week training period, and you become a manager of your own store, and we work with a bunch of different partnerships and all this, that, and the third. I'm like, but what are y'all talking about?
Yeah.
And what made me real mad, what pissed me off is like each one of these places said the same companies that they were partnered with. They were like, yeah, we're partnered with, Nestle, T-Mobile, AT&T. I'm like, all of y'all are separate companies and y'all partner with the same people. And I'm like, bro, y'all are wasting my time. I found that I feel like if anybody's looking for a job, I think personally the best way to look for a job is to go to the actual place. So for instance, my new job, I went to their I'm not gonna say it. I went to their website and I applied there. And then after I applied there, it had me do like an assessment to see if I was like a good fit. Like basically asking me if Lil Johnny, is working and he steals from the till, would you tell somebody if you knew it was the right thing? Like if you knew he was doing the wrong thing? I'm like, yes, I would tell somebody.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
right. I do that assessment. I passed it. After I passed it, I went to the actual place, the physical store that I applied to. I went there and I said, hey, I just passed the assessment. I sent my application in. What can I do next steps? I came in, tie, button down shirt, slacks, like looking good. I was like, what do I need to do next? And the dude was real impressed with me. He was like, oh, you're here? I was like, yeah. I was like, what's up? And he was like, well, here are the next steps. And I feel like that's the best way people can look for a job. Yeah. It's more difficult that way because you have to figure out, okay, what are you qualified for? What do you want to be in, right? Do you want to work, at a dealership? Do you want to work at a phone company? Do you want to work in food, like, fast food? I mean, some people like it. Some people like dealing with that kind of stuff. But when you're doing those things, I would never recommend looking on Indeed. I would never recommend looking on ZipRecruiter, stuff like that, because that's where they could easily get those job hire, like those fake postings, because they'll post them there. And then when they're, like you said, like the government is like checking them, like, well, hey, what are you doing with this kind of money? Like, are you actually looking for jobs to fill? They'll show, well, yeah, we've got this listed.
Yeah, we have like 3.
Right. We just haven't found the right applicant. Meanwhile, they're not actually looking. They're not going through it. Or even then, they'll have those jobs listed, but they've already chosen the applicant, right? With nepotism and that kind of situation. Well, the boss's son, he's going to do this job. He's going to get it, but we got to still post it before we can fill it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. So with that being said, if you have a job, you remember that rule from 75 to 80% good earlier? If you have a job right now in this economy and you're paying your bills, it might be shit. If it's at least 50% good, I would suggest keeping it.
Yeah.
In this economy, I would suggest, just thugging it out, seeing what's going to come next, because there's going to be some changes within a year or two. Let's just see what happens.
Definitely.
But, I appreciate you coming on. This has been pretty dope. Real quick, I got some closing remarks from one of my favorite books. It was actually recommended by Kyrie Irving. He didn't talk to me, personally.
Hey, Kyrie?
Nah, but he posted it, and I was like, he's a very smart guy. Let me check it out. It's called Chop Wood, Carry Water. And basically, it's about, like, do the things that are simple. Like, if you want to be, like a millionaire, what are the daily things that you could do to accomplish that? In this book, the guy was trying to become a samurai. And the first steps before he could start, shooting arrows, swinging his sword, things like that, he had to chop wood. And then he carried the buckets of water from and to the village. But there was this thing that I took away from it, little quote. It said, be where your feet are. So if your feet are at home, be at home. Spend time with your family. Play your game. Relax. Do things that are at home. Don't be at home thinking about work. And if you're at work, be at work. Don't be bullshitting around. Do the things that are at work. If you're currently in a relationship and your feet are in that relationship, don't be looking elsewhere. Get out the relationship first and then go pursue the other thing.
Absolutely.
Or if you're pursuing somebody, do that thing and, be where your feet are. It's a great takeaway.
I like that.
I'll see you guys next time. It's been a great episode. Peace.
Peace.